Yeah, my story is not to theme. You'll have to forgive me. But I do have quite a funny story. Like earlier on in the year, I went to Sydney to do a few auditions, and I was lucky enough that I had had them like day after day, which is so good because I was, maximizing my money. And I went down and I did the first audition and it was okay. And I was waiting to hear a callback. And the next audition was the day after. And between those 2 days, I started getting like a little bit sick. I could just feel it in here, but I was fine. Um, anyway, and so I did my next audition, and I was like, well, I haven't heard back about a callback, and the callback was in a day or two. So I was like, okay, I'll just head home. And so I booked myself a ticket, and I get to the airport, and by this time I'm feeling crook. And you know how it is. I've been like lugging my audition packs around Sydney, catching all the public transport, and I'm just like, oh, I made it to the airport. And I am just about to board my plane, so everything's packed, and I get an email, and they're like, we'd love to see you in 2 days' time for a callback. And I was like, oh, okay, great timing. No, but I was excited. So I came home, and on the flight back, I could feel some pain in my ear. And I don't know if you've experienced it before, but when you're sick, flying is just awful. And I got home and I couldn't hear anything out of my left ear, like almost nothing. Um, and I had to be back in Sydney in 2 days. And so I went to the doctor and I asked, I was like, what should I do? I can't hear and I essentially need to be flying back. She was like, if you fly, you'll might lose your hearing for about 2 months. And I was like, oh, okay. Um, and so I was like, I can't do that, but I really have to take this opportunity. So I got home and I was feeling terrible as you do. And um, I said to my mum, I was like, I need to drive to Sydney, like now. She was like, yeah, I'll go with you. I'll go with you. And I was like, no way. Oh no, it was so sweet. And so she took off work and the two of us started trekking to Sydney. And in the meantime, the audition I had done the first time around had been in English, but my second one had to be in a foreign language. So in the meantime, I'm sitting in the car trying to learn this different language, protecting my ear, trying to like get some sound back. And we arrived just in the nick of time the day after. It was just so bizarre walking in, all these girls are so fresh faced, and I'm just like, this has been like a major travel. Anyway, and I did the audition with my blocked ear, and I felt so bad because they kept saying, "Can you do this? Can you do that?" And I'd go, "Sorry, what did you say?" They must have thought I was crazy. Um, yeah, and then I just jumped back in the car and drove home. Anyway, that's my story.
Well, did you hear from the audition? Did you get the
No,
part? Oh,
but it was
no.
right before COVID, so it was the last thing I really did